Hey, this is Alex again with another update. So I know I didn't do one last week. You know, these holidays are throwing me off. I had a good schedule going, like I was starting to optimize my time really well, where pretty much every hour of the day was spoken for. And then holidays happened and now I'm off track once again. So by the way, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. It's the season, right? There is no point in really applying for jobs at this week or last week, as again, it's most of the world is celebrating some kind of holidays around this time. So starting next week, we're gonna go back into the groove of things. I have been exercising still fairly regularly, whatever. So my goal, I think by tomorrow, I'll be able to do 50 push-ups at a time. I did 45 today. So that's my goal, 50 by the end of the year. And then next year I want to get to 100, obviously in less than a year, but that's not the point. So as far as updates go, I think I'm starting to get used to the local weather. Being from Florida, I'm not, okay, it is colder than I thought it would be. I've already said that. But I think the biggest issue has been that, I simply, in Florida, if it's less than 65, it's fucking cold. That's all there is to it, And now sometimes during the winter at night, it will drop to 30s, and we get an announcement. We get a warning, freeze warning. Cover your plants. If you got plants or something, like little palm trees, the big ones are fine, but the little ones you got to cover. But during the daytime, it'll still get up to 80s, sometimes even 90 degrees. So you're not really experiencing that kind of weather, right? You're inside sleeping, that's fine. But here, it'll be 40 during the day, sometimes 45, sometimes 38, whatever, right? And so, to me, because I'm not used to that kind of weather, I simply don't know the difference between 60, 50, or 40. All I know it's cold. But there's still a noticeable difference between 60 and 40, of course. And so in part, I didn't know how to dress properly. I didn't know what to expect. Also, the wind makes a big difference, right? It always feels way colder than what it says. And so the other day, I accidentally hit my weather app. So on my screen, on my home screen, I get it tells me what the weather is, right? So I always know what it says. But when I tap the actual weather app, it gives me one additional but very useful piece of information. It tells me it says 46 degrees, but it feels like 40. Okay, I'm not crazy. It actually feels way colder than what it says, and that's because of the wind. So now I keep that in mind. I check what it feels like weather, not just the regular weather, and they can make. Yesterday the difference was 10 degrees, right? It said it's 46, but it feels 36 or something crazy. So that's been very helpful. Plus, I think I'm just getting used to it. And today, I think it says today the high is 50. Currently, it's supposed to be 46, but it feels like 41. So I already know what to expect from 41, and I dress the right way where it's not too hot and it's not too cold. Plus, a lot of it I think is just expectations, right? It's so weird how the body works. I think because we can pretty much all of your or anybody's, right? Problems, 99% of the problems, I think, arise from mismatched expectations, right? We expect one thing, another thing happens. Now, a lot of times those expectations make sense, right? You expect, your house to still be there when you get home. If it's gone, you're gonna be upset, right? Mismatched expectations. But it applies to all kinds of things. Even when I quit my job, let's say if I got fired, or when you get fired, when anybody gets fired, right? Even if you hate that job, it's still gonna be very upsetting. It's gonna be devastating. And honestly, I don't know how I would even react to that, but I know it would suck. There is no way around that. But since I left on my own terms, the net result is the same. But because I left on my terms, I feel a lot better, right? I feel great. If anything, my only regret is that I didn't do it sooner. Physically, I'm starting to feel a lot better. There's still a little bit of pain in my shoulder. I think it's my posture, and I think I'm a little bit crooked. But I've been wearing this little brace thing Hopefully, I think it's starting to get better. But like my neck feels 1,000 times better. My back feels like so much better. I mean, I used to be in pain like all the time, so I'm not in pain anymore. That's been wonderful. But anyways, yeah. So these expectations, and I think it applies to weather as well. When you know what to expect, you just not as cold. Like, okay, I know what 21 feels like. I'm aware of it. I'm comfortable with it. And today I'm actually dressed a little bit lighter than yesterday, and it's still just fine. Like, I feel great. So that has been a this, and I know some of it is probably just acclimation, right? Like when you go from a warmer climate to a colder climate, it takes time to get used to it. You know, when I first moved to Florida, I swear it took me like 10 years to get comfortable with the heat and the humidity. I used to be so miserable during the summer. I hated it. I couldn't wait till the winter time so you can at least go outside and like not die immediately. Because in the summer, you know, you basically, you know, you get to your car and you're sweating. Like, it's just, you go outside 2 seconds and you're sweating. It's absurd. Well, but then once I got used to the heat over there, I became a lot more sensitive to the cold, like instantly. So now I'm cold everywhere. And so I think now I'm adjusting to the weather here and feeling a lot better. But also, yeah, so between that and expectations, this has been great. You know, it's just so weird how our body works, right? Like, I mean, I think that's like a superpower. Basically, learning to manage your own expectations. And of course, like sometimes, you know, you ought to have expectations. They can work in a positive way, right? Expect more than kind of what it should be, right? Kind of reach higher. There's that part of that too. But also I think it falls under the umbrella of managing expectations. But like when things don't go your way or as you were expecting, like I think it's critical to be able to kind of take a step back and imagine a scenario where you didn't expect that thing to happen, or you know, you expected something else, and how would you react, right? Because like I said, with the work example, the net result is the same, but the difference between quitting on your own terms and being fired is like night and day, right? Even though, again, the outcome is always the same. And so I think that, yeah, and with the weather, and like with everything, I think learning to manage your expectations is, hold on. Yeah, is basically a superpower. Now, I think today is the 30th, yeah. And tomorrow is New Year's, 31st. I have been learning to buy things at a market lately. So I've been consuming a lot of dairy products. There's the cheese, the milk, butter. There's like different types of cheeses that I'm just eating every single day, which for the most part I think it's good for me. I've always liked cheese, but like I don't know, I've never really had milk, and dairy products were not a big part of my life back then, and now I'm eating a lot of dairy. So far, feeling pretty good. In general, I think because I'm buying the products from the market, it's probably a lot fresher, right? Because I think they have to sell it like that same day, or like maybe the next day. Otherwise, the stuff is really not going to last. Like the bread, I'm going to make a video later. But when I get the bread, it's baked right there. Like sometimes you have to wait for them to finish baking it. And the milk, they bring the milk, and okay, this milk does not last very long, right? It's fresh, so it's like raw milk, right? It tastes a little different. You can almost taste the grass a little bit, but yeah, but this stuff doesn't last as long, so like they have to sell it that day. In the meat, they actually have they cut it right there, like right in front of you, basically, and it's. Like when I got there in the afternoon, they were like, yeah, no, come back in the morning. That's like when the best meat is available, because by the end of the day, it's only whatever is left over. And the one place where I buy the meat, like they're always sold out by the end of the day. The other places have meat left over. So like my landlord is like, yeah, you don't want to buy from them because nobody wants to buy their meat, right? So it's always like older stuff. This one place is good because they are, they're always sold out. So you want to get there like early in the first half of the day at least to get your stuff. But it's like, it's about as fresh as it gets. Same with the fish. I gotta make a video of that too. The fish, it's actually still alive in the tanks. I might have mentioned that before, but it's just pretty cool to see. They got like a whole bunch of fish swimming around, and I'm not sure how do you take it home? Do they cut it right there, or do you carry the live fish home? I don't know. I mean, it seems like a lot of work, so I'm not gonna buy the fish. And same with a lot of produce, right? They just bring it there, and I think they just sell it out, like, I don't know, same day or next day, but like it's not gonna last forever. So as a result, I think in general, I've been eating much fresher food than I have been. Because when it's in the store, like, okay, it goes from a farm to a distribution center, and then from a distribution center, it goes to the store, and then it's still got to be able to last in store for a couple of days, and then it's still got to be able to last at your home for a couple of days, right? So you're getting this, yeah. So like they are adding a lot of preservatives, or they are, I don't know. You're getting stuff that's been basically, potentially weeks old. I mean, that's just how it works, right? Like, there's no way around that, and that's why the prices at the stores are way higher. Like, I would say, I mean, in some cases, almost stuff costs twice as much. Not on everything, but a lot of things. Whew. So what else? Okay, we're getting good with the weather. Actually, it's getting kind of warm. It's nice out today, really. Like, yesterday was nice too, but the days before that it was cloudy and kind of gray and very cold. But yeah, we're getting comfortable with the weather. We're getting comfortable with the food. Going to the market. Tomorrow we got a truck coming over. It's gonna be right next to where I live. They got fresh milk, and it's like something like cottage cheese. I think I've mentioned that before. It's really good. I eat that stuff every day. I put it on everything. It goes with everything. It's amazing. But yeah, so Happy New Year's, and we'll see you next week.